Welcome to Whispers and Confessions. There might be a twist waiting, so please make sure to watch until the end. Don't forget to subscribe and like. Let's begin right away.
While size isn't everything, there are individuals like myself who appreciate larger proportions. Many women, too, prefer a more substantial experience. Our passionate encounters have been known to raise the temperature in various settings, from the office to unconventional locations like sofas or desks. I'm Jake, a 20-year-old sophomore at a prestigious private university, which I entered after dedicating a year to retaking entrance exams. My teenage years were singularly focused on academics, leaving little room for social experiences, especially with the opposite sex. However, college life has ushered in a transformative period. I've begun to pay attention to my appearance and joined clubs to overcome my social anxieties, leading to a blossoming social life. To my surprise, my social circle expanded rapidly. Through mutual connections and club activities, I found myself interacting with more girls than ever before. Recently, I began dating Emily, the girl I connected with most. It's still surreal to think that I, who once believed romance was beyond my reach, am now in a relationship. Occasionally, I ponder how different things might have been had I started dating in high school. However, I quickly remind myself that my current situation is a direct result of my past dedication to studies. As I was walking through the university corridor, lost in these thoughts, I spotted a petite figure waving at me from afar. Upon closer inspection, I recognized the familiar parka. Realizing it was Emily, I hastened my pace. She ran towards me, playfully scolding, "Jake, you meanie! I've been waving at you, and you didn't even notice." Her adorable pout made me want to tease her further. I feigned innocence, saying, "Sorry, I forgot my contact lenses today and wore glasses instead." She replied, "Really? It's rare to see you in glasses. How lucky that we have the same class." Emily walked alongside me briefly before saying, "I'm heading this way, so I'll see you later." I responded, "Okay, I'll call you later." After bidding Emily farewell, I entered the classroom and was reviewing my notes when the bell signaled the start of class. This is my life now, surrounded by friends, cherished by my girlfriend, and dedicated to my studies. My college experience has far exceeded my expectations in terms of fulfillment. Later that day, as I was organizing my textbooks after class, I heard a familiar voice call out, "Jake." Turning towards the door, I saw Emily standing there with a radiant smile. Hastily, I stuffed my carefully arranged textbooks back into my bag and left the classroom with Emily. These walks home together have become a cherished routine, though they're only possible on days when my elective courses end early. Emily has memorized my schedule and never fails to meet me at my classroom. Sometimes, I can't help but think she's too good to be true as my first girlfriend. As we made our way to the station after leaving campus, Emily suddenly halted in front of a department store. "What's the matter, Emily?" I inquired. Following her gaze, I realized she was admiring a jewelry display. "Look, Jake, isn't this adorable?" she exclaimed, pointing to a necklace. The piece she indicated was priced reasonably for college students like us, with a striking Saturn-shaped charm as its focal point. Emily's eyes sparkled with excitement as she admired it, her enthusiasm palpable. After browsing the display case together, Emily suggested we leave. As we walked towards the station, she unexpectedly stopped. "Jake, I have a part-time job today, so I'll say goodbye here. See you tomorrow." With that, we parted ways. On the subway ride home, my thoughts drifted to Emily's upcoming birthday. The necklace she had admired earlier weighed heavily on my mind. Upon arriving home, I found an envelope containing my monthly allowance from my parents. Despite careful calculations, it became clear that I couldn't afford the necklace before Emily's birthday with my current funds. Inspired by Emily's friends who had part-time jobs, I decided it was time to seek employment myself. At a nearby convenience store, I picked up a job magazine and fortuitously discovered a supermarket near my house was hiring. Without hesitation, I applied and secured an interview. A few days later, I received the exciting news that I had been hired, with my first shift scheduled for the following day. The prospect of finally being able to buy Emily's birthday present filled me with joy, though nervousness about my first job crept in as well. That night, I drifted off to sleep with a mix of anticipation and excitement. The next day, after my university classes, I made my way to the supermarket, my heart pounding with nervous energy. Upon entering, I was greeted by an elderly man in uniform. Summoning my courage, I introduced myself. I'm Jake, starting work today. Please take care of me. The man's warm smile put me at ease as he replied, Ah, you're the new part-timer. It's refreshing to see such enthusiasm, before guiding me to the storage area. In the office, the man asked me to wait on a sofa while he fetched the manager. As I sat there, anxiously wondering about the manager's disposition, the door swung open. I bowed deeply, my voice slightly shaky as I greeted, Please take care of me from today. To my surprise, the voice that responded was unexpectedly melodious and clear. Ah, you must be the new part-timer. As I looked up, I found myself face to face with a strikingly beautiful woman. Her long, slender legs were accentuated by well-fitted jeans, and her face was graced with large, expressive eyes that lent her an air of youthful charm. Her slender waist and ample chest, coupled with the glimpse of her fair arms beneath her white t-shirt, gave her an almost ethereal quality. Her shoulder-length hair seemed to catch and reflect the fluorescent light, creating a halo-like effect. Confronted with such beauty in person for the first time, I couldn't help but stare in awe. The manager, noticing my reaction, smiled and remarked, My, I've never seen quite this reaction before. Snapping back to reality, I hastily apologized. I'm sorry. Amused by my flustered state, the manager chuckled softly, her hand delicately covering her mouth. The owner mentioned a promising young man had joined us, and it seems he was right. Her laughter and demeanor exuded sophistication and grace. Surprised, I asked, Oh, was that gentleman from earlier the owner? She nodded. Indeed. He occasionally visits to oversee operations. It's quite rare to meet him, especially on one's first day. You're quite fortunate. Her calm, reassuring tone gradually eased my nerves, helping me feel more at ease in my new workplace. Hello, Jake. I'm Vanessa, the manager. It's a pleasure to meet you, she greeted warmly. Likewise, Ms. Vanessa. I'm looking forward to working here, I replied, trying to mask my nervousness. Vanessa proceeded to explain my job responsibilities in detail and handed me a crisp, new uniform. As she held it up against my body to determine the size, her slender fingers inadvertently brushed against me, sending a slight shiver down my spine. Despite the momentary distraction, I reminded myself of my purpose, to earn money for my girlfriend's gift. With renewed focus, I threw myself into my work, successfully completing my first shift with dedication and enthusiasm. Over the next few days, I gradually acclimated to my new role. My responsibilities expanded to include product organization, which helped me familiarize myself with the store's layout. One afternoon, while I was arranging items near the entrance, a customer approached from behind. Excuse me, came an irritated voice. I turned, offering my most professional smile. Yes, how may I assist you today? The customer's expression was far from pleased. I want to return this, they stated flatly, thrusting an opened bottle of fabric softener towards me. My heart sank. An open product? This might be tricky, I thought, but maintained my composure. I see. May I ask what the issue is? I opened it, and the scent isn't what I expected. I want a refund, they demanded, adding with increasing impatience, and make it quick. Feeling flustered and unsure how to handle the situation, I stammered, I apologize, but it's our policy that we can't accept returns on open products. What? The customer exclaimed, their voice rising. I just bought this. Why can't I return it? Isn't the customer always right? As the situation escalated, I felt myself breaking into a cold sweat. Just then, a gentle yet authoritative voice intervened. Is there a problem here? I turned to see manager Vanessa approaching, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere. Before I could explain, the customer interjected loudly, Apparently, this store doesn't believe in customer satisfaction. Vanessa examined the product carefully, her composure unwavering. I'm terribly sorry for the inconvenience, sir. Could you please explain the issue with the product? After listening attentively to the customer's complaints, Vanessa responded with a perfect blend of empathy and firmness. I sincerely apologize for the misunderstanding, but I'm afraid our policy doesn't allow returns on open liquid products for hygiene reasons. We encourage customers to use the testers available in-store before making a purchase. Is there perhaps another product you'd like to try instead? The customer, who had been fuming moments ago, seemed taken aback by Vanessa's professional handling of the situation. After a moment's hesitation, they grudgingly accepted her explanation and left without further argument. Jake, I'm sorry you had to deal with that, Vanessa said, turning to me with a sympathetic smile. We occasionally encounter challenging customers. In such situations, don't hesitate to call for assistance. As she spoke, her angelic smile and confident demeanor left me in awe. I watched her stride back into the store, feeling a newfound admiration for my manager. In the weeks that followed, I found my heart skipping a beat whenever Vanessa was around, her poise and kindness leaving a lasting impression on me. Before I knew it, Emily's birthday was upon us. Thanks to my diligent work at the supermarket, I had not only secured the perfect gift but also saved enough for a surprise weekend getaway to a beach resort. As I waited for Emily at the station, my excitement grew, imagining her reaction to the unexpected trip. Sorry I'm late, Jake. Emily's voice snapped me out of my reverie. She appeared beside me, slightly out of breath from rushing. I smiled warmly, taking her hand. No worries, you're right on time. Shall we? As we made our way to our destination, Emily's curiosity got the better of her. Where are we going? She asked repeatedly, her eyes sparkling with anticipation. I simply squeezed her hand, enjoying the suspense. You'll see soon enough, I replied mysteriously, looking forward to the wonderful weekend ahead. Upon arriving at the beach resort, Emily's eyes widened with surprise and delight. When I revealed we'd be staying overnight, she embraced me joyfully. Having prepaid for our accommodation, I felt a sense of accomplishment as Emily expressed her gratitude for my thoughtful planning. After check-in and a sumptuous dinner, we retreated to our room, where a spacious king-size bed awaited us. The prospect of sharing a bed with my girlfriend for the first time filled me with nervous excitement. Emily, seemingly aware of the implications, shyly remarked, "The blankets are connected," before we settled in for the night. Under the covers, Emily hugged me close, whispering, "Jake, thank you for today," before our lips met in a tender kiss. As passion ignited between us, our bodies responded to each other's touch, and we found ourselves breathlessly anticipating what was to come. However, our romantic encounter took an unexpected turn. As we attempted to become intimate, Emily winced in discomfort, gently pushing against my chest. "Jake, it hurts," she said softly. It became apparent that my size was causing her pain, despite our mutual desire. After several unsuccessful attempts, we reluctantly abandoned our efforts, exchanging apologetic words before drifting off to sleep. The following morning, I presented Emily with her birthday gift, my voice tinged with disappointment. "Happy birthday," I said, handing her the package. My original plan to surprise her at midnight had been thwarted by our unsuccessful encounter. Emily's smile as she accepted the gift seemed forced, her usual enthusiasm noticeably dampened. The awkwardness from the previous night still lingered, casting a shadow over what should have been a joyous celebration. Vanessa approached me with a concerned expression. "Is everything all right, Jake? You seem troubled," she inquired gently. Hesitant at first, I decided to confide in her about the recent events. "Well, things have been a bit complicated with my girlfriend lately," I began, my voice wavering slightly. Vanessa listened attentively as I recounted the awkward situation during our trip and the subsequent strain on our relationship. After I finished, Vanessa pondered for a moment before asking, "Jake, would you like to discuss this further after your shift? I think it might help to talk it through." Grateful for her offer, I nodded in agreement. Later that evening, as I was changing out of my uniform, I heard a knock on the door. Vanessa's voice came through, "Jake, please come to my office when you're ready." I quickly finished changing and made my way there. Upon entering, I found Vanessa engrossed in her work. She glanced up, apologizing for the wait, and gestured for me to take a seat. As the last of our colleagues departed, Vanessa joined me on the sofa, her expression empathetic. "So, Jake," she began softly, "it seems the issue stemmed from physical incompatibility?" I nodded, embarrassed. Vanessa listened intently as I shared my fears of future rejections and the growing distance with my girlfriend. As our conversation deepened, I noticed a shift in Vanessa's demeanor. Her breathing seemed to quicken, and her gaze occasionally flickered to my lower body. When she asked for specifics about my size, I reluctantly demonstrated with my hands, eliciting a surprised, "Oh my," from her. The atmosphere in the office grew thick with tension. Vanessa edged closer, her hand resting near my thigh. "You know, Jake," she murmured, her voice taking on a husky quality, "being well endowed can be quite appealing to many women, myself included." Stunned by her admission, I could only stare as Vanessa leaned in, her eyes shimmering with desire. "If you're feeling insecure," she whispered, her lips mere inches from mine, "perhaps I could help you regain your confidence?" Before I could respond, she closed the distance, capturing my lips in a passionate kiss. The scent of her perfume enveloped me, and I felt my body responding instinctively. As we parted, breathless, I could only utter her name in a daze. "Vanessa?" Caught off guard by the sudden turn of events, I found myself gazing at Vanessa's shoulders. Her eyes glistened with moisture. Her lips parted slightly as she asked, "Don't you like it?" I swallowed hard, my voice barely above a whisper. "It's not that I don't like it, but someone might come." With a knowing smile, Vanessa turned towards the door. My heart raced beneath my palm as I pressed it against my chest, a mixture of regret and relief washing over me. I reassured myself that it was indeed wise to exercise caution, given the potential consequences. Suddenly, the soft click of the lock echoed through the room. Vanessa, tucking a stray strand of hair behind her ear, turned to face me with a mischievous glint in her eye. "It's okay now," she purred. "What shall we do?" Well, it's my first time," I stammered, my cheeks burning with embarrassment as I struggled to articulate my thoughts. Vanessa's gaze softened as she observed my nervousness. She placed a gentle hand on my knee and, with a hint of playfulness in her voice, asked, "Then are you going to hide this?" Her eyes flickered meaningfully towards my body's involuntary response. Despite the crimson hue that painted my face, Vanessa's boldness left me breathless. In one fluid motion, she wrapped her arms around my neck and straddled my legs, her face mere inches from mine. Up close, her beauty was even more striking, and I found myself instinctively drawing her closer. A fleeting thought crossed my mind. Is this what it means to truly desire another person? Our lips met once more, this time with increased fervor. Intoxicated by Vanessa's warm breath, I fumbled with the buttons of her shirt, my fingers trembling with anticipation. Each undone button sent my heart racing faster, and when her exquisite, full breasts were finally revealed, I felt as though all the air had been sucked from my lungs. The sight of her soft, flawless skin rendered my mind blank, leaving me incapable of coherent thought. With deliberate slowness, Vanessa removed my shirt, her lips leaving a trail of fire as they grazed my chest and stomach. Every touch sent jolts of electricity coursing through my body. Mustering my courage, I slid my hand beneath her blouse, marveling at the softness and firmness of her breasts. When a sweet moan escaped Vanessa's lips, I found myself caressing her with increased passion. Her hand gradually made its way towards my pants, and as she made contact with my arousal, her eyes widened in surprise. "Oh my, Jake, it's so big and hard," she breathed, her voice a mixture of wonder and desire. I groaned, overwhelmed by the exquisite pleasure her delicate touch elicited. When our bodies finally joined as one, an indescribable ecstasy washed over me. Vanessa, with the finesse of an experienced lover, guided me through the motions, her movements slow yet intensely passionate. I tried to match her rhythm, but at times my hips moved of their own accord, driven by primal instinct. Her breathing grew increasingly labored, and the sound of my name on her lips echoed in my ears like a sacred mantra. In that moment, we achieved perfect unity, the outside world fading away as we lost ourselves in each other's embrace. Time seemed to lose all meaning as we lay intertwined, our bodies glistening with perspiration, our chests heaving as we caught our breath. A profound sense of contentment enveloped us. Vanessa placed a tender kiss on my forehead, her eyes sparkling as she smiled up at me. Her fingers traced lazy patterns on my chest as she whispered, "Jake, you're truly special. I'm grateful to have shared such a perfect moment with you." Her words made my heart swell with emotion, and I instinctively tightened my embrace, drawing her even closer. This profound experience marked my initiation into the realm of physical intimacy. Under Vanessa's expert guidance, we explored a variety of positions, including some that initially seemed awkward to me. Yet, in every configuration, Vanessa remained attentive to my needs, her joy evident in her expressions and movements. Our passionate encounter seemed to elevate the temperature of the entire office, transforming even mundane surfaces like the sofa and desk into arenas of pleasure. After we had dressed, Vanessa's tone shifted back to its usual professionalism as she asked, "Jake, is your home nearby? Shall I drive you?" When I politely declined, she insisted, "It's no trouble at all," and led me out of the store to her car. As I settled into the passenger seat, a wave of gratitude washed over me. "Vanessa," I began, my voice thick with emotion, "thank you so much. Thanks to you, I've regained my confidence." Vanessa responded with a subtle smile, her eyes focused on the road ahead as she started the engine. As we drove, I found myself admiring Vanessa's composed demeanor behind the wheel. She broke the comfortable silence with a casual, "You know?" "Curious," I prompted. "Yes, what is it?" Her reassuring voice filled the car. "I won't tell anyone about what happened today." As we waited at a red light, Vanessa leaned against the steering wheel, her gaze meeting mine. In a hushed tone, she asked, "Do you want to come to my place today?" The invitation, coupled with the vivid memories of our recent encounter, elicited an immediate physical response from me. I noticed a flush creeping across Vanessa's face, and I was certain it wasn't merely a reflection of the red traffic light.